Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to our next show on training. So, in this every alternate Wednesday, that is first and third Wednesday of the month, we are doing a session on various aspects of training, and it is really designed to benefit all trainers. Today, we are going to be talking about the need or the importance, the value, the relevance of sales as far as a trainer is concerned. Most trainers, they do concentrate on their content, they concentrate on their delivery, but they sometimes do neglect sales. So if marketing and sales are not attended to, there is obviously a void, and you have good content, but how will it reach people, the people who should get it, the people who deserve to learn, and how do we make that effective? So today we are going to be focusing on sales. We are going to be focusing on the importance of sales. And in that, I am going to be inviting a guest of ours. So, okay, now let me introduce today's guest. He is none other than Chander Sharma. Now, Chander Sharma, besides being a very good friend of mine, is also a trusted business advisor, a sales coach, and I haven't seen one better than him, a leadership coach, and a professional speaker. Chander Sharma runs a management consulting firm which is serving clients across Europe, Africa, and Middle East. Chandar has his uncanny knowledge of how people tick, their ability to motivate, to inspire, and to challenge them to perform at their optimum best. He firmly believes that personal development, innovation, creativity, and resilience are the four strong foundational pillars of success for every individual and every business. And trainers are very much a part of that community. If you actually cut his nerves and take out some blood from his veins, you will find that even the blood has five letters which are there engraved in his DNA, and they are SALES. Okay, I'm going to be soon putting that on the title you will see below. But here I'm just talking about the importance of sales. So when not at work, you can find Chandar out in the field with his binoculars and a book of birds in hand, watching and studying bird behavior. He loves to study and practice compassion, and his initiative, We Care, supports bird conservation and earth conservation through reuse, reduce, and recycle. A lifelong student of behavior, Chandar loves real conversations with real people. Okay, so that is about our esteemed guest. And one of the very important things why I chose to get Chandar on this platform is for the reason that he is a genuine human being, an authentic person. I've known him for many years now, and I vouch for his credibility, for his knowledge, for his experience. And because he is a sales trainer and he's also a professional keynote speaker, makes him absolutely the best choice for a trainer to be listening to and understanding from him. So let's get Chandar on the studio, in the studio, rather, sorry. Yeah, here we go. Welcome, Chandar, to today's program. And I'm so happy, I'm so excited to see you here.
Yes, even I'm very, very excited. And thank you for that very long introduction for me. And I'm so humbled. But to begin to say this, I am really indebted in various ways to you. I'm thankful to you, my gratitude to you, sir, for having taught me so much in so many years. We go back a long way, but thank you for having me over this platform. And there is so much to learn from you always. And it's going to be a wonderful journey next 45 minutes of our time to really give out to this community of lovely people who are listening to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm going to be uh, just a second. Yeah. So we are talking of sales, and we are talking of sales for first time trainers, which means people who are beginning to train or who have been training for some time and are still wanting to get up into what we call the the startup stage, and if from the startup stage, how do we go to the stability stage? And stability stage is where you get, your system works for you, your lead generation, marketing, sales all happen in a manner that you start getting some consistent income. So that is what we'll call the stability stage. So this is program is particularly focused on those who are yet coming into the stability stage. The next stage, of course, is upscaling, and that, of course, is for everyone keeps upscaling, and that stage is never achieved by anyone. Even Tony Robbins says that I am work in progress. So it carries on. So, Chander, let's start by your talking to us about the importance of sales in training. How would you talk about the importance?
Uh, I think it takes me back to one of the sessions which I did almost about 5 years ago, and 150 trainers inside a room. And I walked in, and my first question to everybody was, "Who taught you sales?" And they all looked at me like a, and they were surprised at what kind of question is this?
Yeah.
Who taught you sales means, and I got very mixed answers, very mixed answers. And everybody kept saying, this one taught me, that one taught me, I got inspired here, I got inspired there, and all of that. But then the fact of reality, and everybody agreed to that, was there are no formal schools, there are no formal trainings happening, there are no formal sales coachings happening, there are no so the education system in India does not allow us to get exposed to any nuances around sales. Whereas on the side, my belief is very strong that when it comes to persuasion, when it comes to negotiation, when it comes to convincing, when it comes to influencing people, now these are all imperative to any human being. You need to have these skills. These are your lifetime essential survival skills.
Absolutely.
Persuasion reminds me, takes me back, sir, to my school days. I was in all of class 11th, and our school decided to take a bunch of boys to go trekking to Nepal in the Himalayas, a 14-day trek. I tried my level best, tried to convince my family, tried to persuade my family people, my folks, influence them in various ways. I got even my physical trainer teacher, the PT teacher, home to have talked to my parents, but they won't agree. But I was a little smart one there. I said, if nothing is working, if persuasion, convincing, influence is not working, probably negotiation will. So I negotiated. I negotiated something different. I said, give me a 7 days holiday in Simla in one of my relatives' place, and I will choose my place and everything, but still go out. Now, the fact of the matter is, I still went out. I still spent time in the wild. I still loved my time in the mountains. But the long and short of it is, irrespective whatever genre you are, irrespective whatever you teach, irrespective whatever you train on, whether you're working professionally, you're in your personal life, professional life, anywhere, for higher degree of effectiveness, you need to have persuasion skills, negotiation skills, convincing skills, influencing skills, and all of those. Because please understand, if some of you are making notes, please write this, and I'll insist a couple of times. If some of you are writing, please write down, people buy from people. And there is no other way. People buy from people. And you have to really know that this is a life skill you need to master. And by the way, in the last program also, Beginner sir, you will remember, JJ had spoken about this, that there are various life skills. And this is one of the life skills. Sales, to me, is a life skill. You need to have it. At any stage of life, you need to know that you need to be good at sales. And it's a learnable, coachable skill, and you can actually easily acquire by more practicing it. But for all of this, I'd probably say you need to have an absolute clarity on your why, what, and how. I go back to Simon Sinek, by the way, which means know your why. Each trainer listening on this forum, please understand, why are you selling or your services or your product? Why are you doing what you're doing at this point of time? What exactly is your offering? Is your offering solving a problem for someone or for a business? Is it a business solution or whatever? But make sure you have your why clear, your what clear, and the how will follow. How is a very different thing. Of course, for how there are academies like how Brigadier Sushil Bazin has beautifully come up with this wonderful academy. There are mastermind classes, and there are so many other things which Brigadier Bazin's team will speak about. But then all of us are there to really help you as an ecosystem. But first, basically, understand the fact and the reality that people buy from people. It's imperative to know sales, and you cannot escape influencing, negotiation, persuasion, and influence if you are living a life. And of course, essential survival skill. So,
Absolutely. I think, if you permit me to give you an example, say if a mother is talking to a small child, say her daughter, 7 years old, and the child is asking for a chocolate, and the mother says, no, no, please, no, no chocolate for you. She said, Mama, why? And she says, oh, your teeth will get spoiled. And then she says, but your teeth are okay. Did you never have chocolates in your childhood? And the mother says, I did, but I had very few chocolates. And she says, have I taken any chocolate for the last 10 days? Even I don't take many chocolates. And the mother is compelled to give her a chocolate. Here, the child was a good salesperson. But if the mother would have been able to avoid giving the chocolate, then maybe the mother was a better salesperson. I totally agree with Chander, and I've done it in many of my workshops where I ask people, how many people do you have in your sales team? And people will say 10, 20, or whatever. I said, how many people do you have in your company? They said 500. I said, aren't all 500 people your salespeople? Who's not doing sales? Isn't the CEO doing sales? Isn't the HR head doing sales? Whether you're selling for money, you're selling your ideas, you're selling your concepts, you are selling all the time. And
absolutely.
therefore, I come to my next question. Chandar, what do you have to tell people who are born with this idea that sales is a dirty word? That, when people don't like to be sold, when people feel, बेच रहा है, it comes as a derogatory, as a कोई गाली निकाल रहा है हमको, हाँ, या बेचता है, बड़ा बेच रहा है वो. But understand that, and that's what Jogesh also covered last time very beautifully, was that if you think of sales as a service, if you think about sales as a service, because you're serving people, and it is not a bad thing to do as long as you are giving them more value than what you're charging them for. And that is, I think all of us, whether Chandar, me, or JJ, we all belong to that category, that we have never left anything undone to make sure that we give you more value than the money you pay us. So I always say the investment you make in team, TEEM. Okay, I'm putting it in the on the banner. Okay, team, TEEM, and team is time, effort, energy, and money. When you
Wow.
invest time, effort, energy, and money into anything, then you start looking at returns. So even if you're making a sales, that even if you're having a free webinar, people don't come. You still have to convince them you have to sell your webinar even when there's no money, because they are investing that time. So how do you think a trainer should first get his mindset changed and start looking at sales as a positive thing and not as a derogatory or negative thing?
I think the internet is already flooded today telling you that you need to have a mindset of a winner. And I probably absolutely cross it right there and just throw it out of into the bin. Mindset of a winner, of course, will come later. And I'm not saying you don't need to have one. But I think for every trainer, and I'll just break it down into two things. For every trainer, please understand first thing, you might have a world-class product or a service. A world-class product or a service. But if it's lying in your locker and the world doesn't get to see it, I'm sorry, nobody will ever come to know. Nobody will ever come to know. Which means it needs to be brought out and it needs to be showcased. Now, it needs to be showcased is the first thing, and that's the mindset you need to have. I know in the good old days, and especially the continent, the subcontinent in India and all around, in the good old days, I'm talking my days, almost early days, which is almost about 30 years ago, you had to be a failure in life or a black sheep in life or a good for nothing fellow in life, and that's why you qualified to go into sales. If you're good for nothing, go become a salesperson. But not anymore. Not anymore. Today, again, a very similar audiences, I ask the same question again. How and why have you come into sales? Have you come by choice? Did somebody push you? Is it your alternate career? Is it your second choice? Now you need to have clarity whether your sales is your first choice or second choice. Now, the more you put into the center of everything, the sales into the center of everything, the entire business. Because remember, no customer is equal to no business. No customer is
Absolutely.
equal to no business. And no customer means no sales. So no sales is equal to no customers is equal to no business. Equation, if you would like to write down, please. No sales is equal to no customers is equal to no business. Which means take your product or service out of the locker. And my second most favorite things, which I continue to tell a lot of people, is stop living in the myth of when. And this is very beautiful. The myth of when. I have heard n number of people, so many trainers, almost 100 plus, 200 plus people telling me, when my product or service becomes like that, I'll start marketing or start selling. No, sir. No, ma'am. You're ready today. Right now, right this moment, you're ready, because if you have an idea which solves a problem, which helps people in getting better, you already have a great product lined up. It can test the market, it can test the waters. You can go back 10 times to keep improvising and keep improving the product. Yet, the essential part is you have to stop living in the myth of when. The biggest failures people see is when they start living in the myth of when, saying, when this happens, I will do this. When that happens, I'll do this. So that's very crucial and very critical, which means you need to have a mindset, which is a growth mindset and a mindset of a winner, a solution mindset. And here are very, very basic, beautiful questions you need to ask. And your entire selling mechanism will work for you. Is how can I serve? How can I help? How can I be of value to you? How can I be of service to you? And that is going to be the defining thing, because the moment you start asking people, how can I help? How can I serve? That's where the differentiator starts happening for all trainers. Because the problem is you just go to a particular HR or somebody and say, here is my list of programs that I do, here are the list of things that I do, and this is what you sell. And specs and selling and pricing. And I'm so sorry, it doesn't work like that. Like the last webinar, I really request a lot of people, please go back to the last webinar and watch JJ sir and Brigadier sir speaking on marketing and the entire ecosystem of, and what beautiful, I still remember, Brigadier sir, allow me, I still remember JJ spoke of that social currency. Phenomenal that is. Now, social currency is something you have to really work hard on. It takes you years to work on your social currency to get better and better. Mindset of an athlete. And what's a mindset of an athlete? Mindset of an athlete. What's a mindset of an athlete is, again, your example, Brigadier sir, that you gave in that last webinar, hitting the golf ball just left, right, and center, or actually having a sales coach or a sales trainer telling you how to hit the ball right to get it right into the hole. So again, the mindset of an athlete is what you need to have. You need to perspire, you need to work hard, you need to continually grow your social capital, you need to work on your social currency. You need to have all of these things, and hence develops your mindset to become closer to how you can sell better. To sell better, and selling is a way of life. I keep saying this, selling is a way of life. Sir.
Very good. So I think everything that you're saying is so true, and I totally, totally resonate with you on this. Uh, you talked beautifully of the mindset, and we want to really, really be very clear on what are we talking about this mindset. And I would go a little step ahead, Chander, and say transformation doesn't happen at the mind; it happens from the heart. So even start establishing a heart set more than a mindset when it comes from your heart. Now, when you go around and saying, can I help you? How can I serve you? And that looks artificial till it becomes your DNA that you're the other person is able to clearly make out whether you mean it or you're saying it. whether you mean it or or just saying it superficially. That you attended a seminar in which Chander said that you must say that how can I serve you, and tomorrow when you go to the office and you start asking how can I serve you, anyone who's talking to you, how can I serve you, and they know that behind that actually is not the real spirit, but just a tool that you're using. It's not a tool. You have to make it your DNA. So I would like you to spend a little time on how to create this mindset of sales, that it should come to you automatically. You should not be putting in any effort. Like you said, you have to breathe in and breathe out. So sales should be a part of your breathing system, that it is happening without you knowing that.
Great question, sir. A great question there. You know, sales is nothing to do with that is an ability or a talent that you're either born with or you're not born with. I have said it in the beginning, it's a skill that you can acquire. There's a complete, of course, in the mastermind groups with Brigadier sir, we are going to talk about that also very soon. There's a complete system to it, there's a complete process to it. And if I name the first one, for example, your elevator pitch. Now, if you have not practiced your elevator pitch, and if you don't have three versions of elevator pitch, by the way, three of them, I'm saying a 1 minute version, a 3 minute version, and a 10 minute version, which means if you get a chance to speak something like this, or maybe go to a party or go to a gathering or go to a social place, and if someone asks you very briefly, what do you do? Either you have 1 minute, if the person is showing himself, then you have 3 minutes. And if the person is really, really interested in what you are as an individual, and he's a person who really helps, then you have a flat 10 minutes. Now, if you're not ready, if you're not practiced, if you're not written it down in a sequence, in a structure, I'm so sorry, you'll fall flat, because then you will just go and you'll not know what you're saying. So you have no chance to make any fault. You have no chance to lose this opportunity when somebody, and that's why the one version of the elevator pitch is, because you're in an elevator and you're briefly there for 30 seconds, you need to be really convincing the other person or influencing the other person that you create value.
Absolutely, absolutely. And really speaking, like what Sam Cawthon says, and he's a great guru of mine, he says that if you get a call at middle of the night and you just wake up and somebody says, how do you do? Your elevator pitch should come out from your sleep as well. So that means
Absolutely.
it is into your DNA. You're not going to look for words. It is not only mugging up, and I think mugging up is also required. You have to really remember it by heart, but it has to come in a flow that it doesn't look like that you're reading or you're talking of somebody else. Actually, what it means is that you are talking about you it's coming to you so naturally, and the other person doesn't feel that that is being forced. It is coming, he receives it very well. So I think that's a very, very important thing. Once we have our heart set, our mindset completely tuned to sales, then sales becomes very, very simple. Very simple. Chandra, let me
Yeah.
confess here, I have been a victim of this. And even today, while you're talking, and I know what you're saying is right, I still have a little mindset problem about selling, because in your childhood, in my childhood, I was from a middle class family, and I used to always think that this is all what we deserve, and we don't deserve. I mean, I'm not the one who deserves to have a car or a house or something. So there was, earning money was not considered very great. And also there was a myth that people made in your environment, made you believe that all rich people are dishonest people. They are wealthy because they cheated, which is not so. If you see a Mercedes going one way, a dishonest person, and the other way is saying he's worked hard to earn that Mercedes. So it is the way you think about it. And uh, I'll tell you, then I joined the army, and in the army, of course, there was no question of anything other than your salary. So even if you wanted to build a house to give it on rent, in my old days, it was not considered good. That you are looking for more money at a time when you should be serving the nation. So your profession came first. And therefore, even today for me, I've been a very talkative child. Right from my childhood, I was told that you are very talkative. And today I feel if I go and stand and talk, and why do I deserve money? Because talking came to you so easily, that what is there to demand money from? So, but as we get into the business of training, and as you start building this business, I think it is absolutely important to get into the nuances, and there is no shortcut. You can't be a trainer till you have mastered, not learned, mastered sales, because without that, you will not be able to move ahead.
And quickly, the number two on, I got three of them, by the way. The first one I've already spoken. The second one is farming and not hunting. Focus on the relationship, please. Focus on the relationship. I continue to say 10 times, 100 times, 1000 times. Please focus on the relationship with people who matter, people who would like to buy your services, people who show interest with you. Focus on people, relationships with people, farming and not hunting. Very, very critical. The problem is we wake up one fine morning, we throw a couple of ads over Facebook or social media or wherever, and suddenly say, my product should sell, or there should be buyers who need to buy my product at a X price or a Y price. I'm so sorry, but you need to really focus on farming and not hunting. Hunting will not take you far. In this business, in people business, because you're in people business, people buy from people, you need to be focusing on the farming. That's my thought number two. Sir, you are saying something.
Uh, I just want to take a little pause here to say that I'm very happy with the audience coming out with nice questions and comments. So
Oh,
I have
yes.
Shreya's thing on the screen which says mastering sales is a task and farming but not hunting is the key. Okay,
Awesome.
so that is what Shreya said, and we are getting a lot of comments from a lot of people. So thank you, Vinay. We have got a couple of people, and I don't know whether he's still there or not. But Dave Crane was here some time back, and Dave Crane is a speaker I really admire. He's based in
Yes.
Dubai, and he's a very very high profile trainer, and I have had the pleasure of spending 1 week with him in a program in Dubai and in Mumbai, because he also came here for the World HRD Congress. So Dave, thank you very much for investing some of your time in watching us.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dave.
Yeah,
And Dave is someone who's full of energy, enthusiasm, very infectious. So
very
all of
very
that.
highly okay. And
The third
yeah, so
one, the third
yeah,
one on
third,
my list, the third
yeah,
one on
oh,
my list is sales is all about numbers. So eat numbers, sleep numbers, talk numbers, speak numbers, walk numbers, talk numbers. Everything is numbers, 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 and only numbers. Marketing does not have the bandwidth of talking about numbers, but sales is the only area. You know, your business is numbers. Any sale that you make is numbers. Your check is numbers. Your money is numbers. So sales, get the mindset very right. Please start speaking numbers. Don't say I'm doing very well. Say I'm doing X revenue and I'm targeting Y revenue. I'm doing this revenue, I will target that revenue. I need to do this much in this much of time. Be specific. You know, Brigadier Basin is teaching all the strategic time management and everything. Again, talking of time, you know, have to factor that time. Okay, on the 25th of September, I will buy a Maruti car, so and so model, so and so color, and I'm going to work backwards now. So work backwards and speak numbers, eat numbers, talk numbers, sleep numbers. Everything is just numbers, numbers, numbers. Your business is numbers. If it fails, it is going to be numbers. If it does extremely well, and I really wish all of you do extremely well in your life, numbers is what is going to matter. You know what? Somewhere, somebody in the family back there is also thinking of numbers.
absolutely. So you begin with the end in mind, that this is my goal, and create a very smart goal. And in that smart goal, like Chander said, 25th September, maybe 1200 hours, I should have done this. And then work backwards. So that is the way we go about. Very good. Excellent. So I think I'm really enjoying the conversation, and you are really coming out with very practical and doable points, which is a requirement here. Now, Chandra, can you tell us something about the sales funnels for trainers? What would you recommend when a person is starting, and we are focusing on first time trainers or trainers who are in the pre startup or startup stage? What would you recommend to them?
Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite area. Funnels have been always my favorite area, and funnel, by the way, happens to look like this. By the way. So a funnel can really constitute a lot of things. And in again, with Brigadier Bashin's upcoming program and the mastermind group and everything, we'll speak much in detail. But with whatever little time we have today, I'll quickly speak of how this sales funnel can look great. So first fundamental thing, please get it right, is funnel is an organic process. It's not you just pour certain number of leads and every lead will now convert into some kind of a sale. It cannot be the case. It's important to understand that it's an organic process, and organic processes take time. They'll require a patience of a saint to have. You can't get frustrated. But more importantly, understand what are all these things that I'm talking about now. What is a raw lead, for example? What is a viable lead, for example? What's a nurtured lead, for example? What's a qualified, non-qualified lead, for example, for your service or product? How are you categorizing your customers ABC? And I'll quickly, some people who are listening on the webinar, and maybe Brigadier Basim, you can also do this. Reach out to people you've not reached out in the last 2 years, irrespective of whether you did business with them or not. But in your phone right now, there are 2,000 plus contacts. And I can vouch, if you start making a list, there are 100 of those people you've not got in touch with the last 2 years. And in some point of time, either you transacted, or you probably sold your services or product, or you were in a different organization doing something else, but you were still in touch with that person. Try and put this person into category C, your C customer. Now, your C customers are easier because they only work on relationships. They'll be thrilled to know that you called today. They'll be thrilled to know that you're doing something on your own. They'll be thrilled and happy to support you, or at least they'll thrilled to give you their listening time. They'll listen to you. Which means make all the effort to bring your customer C's to customer B. B is a category of a customer which you often on do some business with, Not all the time, but some business with. Because your A category occupies all your time, by the way. The same Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. Your largest customer, which is the A customer, takes away all your time and gives you all your revenue, which is 80%. It's that critical 20%, by the way, people are not focusing on, which ultimately converts to 80, is you bring people from C to B level and from B to A level. And that's the power and magic of funnels when we speak in classrooms. And there's a very strong structured program around this. And I'm happy to help lots of trainers, happy to give my wisdom, happy to share my, but simply sharing or understanding my notes will not help, or reading a book might not help. We make you sit down and write these over days, I'm saying. Which means learn to understand what your raw leads are, your viable leads are, your nurtured, non-nurtured leads are, your qualified leads are. Categorize your customers into ABC customers or hot, warm, cold in the good old days customers, and make sure you can work from that area. That's how your funnels are working. And now coming to the real one. There are about 20 different kind of funnels, Brigadier Sir, I talk about. 20 different kind of funnels. I'm happy today on this forum, I'll actually give away at least 3 of those. Not really my favorite ones, but these are ones which really work. 3 different kind of funnels. The first one is the membership funnel, which means you create a beautiful program, a very well-structured program, and create a membership funnel, which means you need to invite select people, select audiences over membership to your program. Members only. You go to certain, so for example, defense forces, any officers mess, you can't walk in there if you are a civilian. You have to be, it's members only. And there are various clubs all over the world, members only. Mastermind groups today are members only. All of these have high value attached to them, and only small, and make sure you make only smaller groups. Don't make a members only 50 people group or a 200 people group. You can have group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have 5 groups, but don't include more than 20 people by the way. So a membership funnel, how will that work? Who are the kind of people who will qualify to get? If I take the example of, for example, Vodafone, they have, or Airtel, they have a different marketing segment, different marketing techniques for HNIs. which means high net worth individuals are targeted very differently. If you're doing retreats, you have a very different market altogether. If you're doing only classroom programs, you have a different market. If you're doing only webinars, you have a different market altogether. Make sure you recognize how you can create clubs, which will be huge value that you give back to your customer. That's your membership funnel, one way of doing it. The second one is a beautiful one, which I have always loved and liked. And also, I think JJ spoke in the last program. I again highly recommend, please go back and see that video if you've not seen that, is the reverse squeeze page funnel, it is called. Reverse squeeze page funnel. We don't have the luxury of time today. I would have explained in length. But how it works is you first of all give value. And you give immense value. Probably something out of your book. Probably something out of your masterclass. And this is for everybody to pick up. What you're doing by this is creating the curiosity quotient. I repeat, you're creating the curiosity quotient, and that's exactly is what the squeeze page funnel all about. And the reverse means you first create value, create a curiosity to a level, and then bring them to the third kind of funnel. My third one, which I'm giving you today, is the two-step tripwire funnel. A two-step tripwire funnel. Two-step tripwire funnel, Brigadier Sir, is when people get curious after the value they've received from the reverse squeeze page funnel, they now come to you to buy something, which means give them something so low in value that they'll not even mind taking out their card and swiping it right away then and there. But the hidden fact and the beauty is it is coupled with yet another deal, which is so phenomenal, available for today. Sign up right now, right this moment, and make use of that 30-40% discount or whatever. Which means if you qualify, say for example, if I take a numeric example, 10,000 rupees of a product or a service to be sold for a particular day or for a particular half an hour of a say coaching session, 1 hour, 10,000 rupees. If I have to sell that, I will say A, here is value. B, here is what is curiosity for you to kind of change your life or turn your lifestyle around or get better at sales. C, I get you to buy that little nugget of 9.99, which is 1 rupee less than 1,000 rupees. And then I also tell you that here is an element which involves your membership to my club. Is all something, it gives you a one-on-one coaching with me for 1 hour. And also there is a mastermind group which I'm going to make you a part of. And then finally, all of this coming to you not at 10,000 rupees, the regular price. Today it comes to you at 6,000, which is 5,999. And if you buy the 999 today and still buy the rest in the next 24 hours, you still avail only 5,999 for both the products, product A and product B. And that's how the two-step tripwire funnel works. And you know what? Just simply listening about it or knowing about it do not work, because we make sure we work with you, get down to your levels, and try and see in your product, in your service, how can we help you to build this entire funnel systems. And there's a permutation combination of these funnels which will work. No one set agenda, no one strategy which will work. Because I told you, I talk about 20 different kind of funnels. I just spoke about 3 of them just now. So rest 17, over to you, be my guest, and reach out any number of times to Brigadier Bashir's team. We are all happy to help you.
Thank you very much, Chander. And that is the underlying thing, that we all work from the mindset of serving people, and we don't shy from giving one-to-one coachings, and money comes later, value comes first. Money is important. If you are doing business, money is very important. But money does not become more important than the value, because till my customer has really got the value, I don't feel that I have the right to charge money for something that he didn't get. Okay, so we go very, very firm on the results that we want to achieve. So thank you very much. I think that is very, very powerful and very profound on the funnels. Now, when you talk of a trainer who just started training, and he is quite new to the entire thing, whether we call non-sales professionals, anyone who's not typically branded as a salesperson becomes a non-sales professional. How do you think about the journey a trainer should go from a non-professional into sales? Of the sale of the product or service that is being sold by that person. How do you think the journey of transitioning from a non-professional salesperson to a professional salesperson should take place?
Great question once again, and there are a couple of things to do there. Of course, have the mindset right, and get your elevator pitch right, and discover your value proposition and everything. Uh, More than all of this, and for these people who are just starting off now, or people who are already doing some phenomenal work, I will go back to my good old days, and I'm giving this lesson from my own life, which is almost like 25, 26 years ago. One of my managers gave it to me. And if people want to write, please write down. Become a slave of your calendar. Now, you need to have a calendar in place. If you're still wondering that you will wake up tomorrow morning and randomly look at your mobile phone and randomly call some people to ask them how are they doing and would they like to buy your service or product, I'm so sorry, it will not work like that. Now, there is a complete system to it, and I'm again happy to share that system to you. And the system is a beautiful system called 369. It's a 369 principle. It's a 369 plan. And again, in my classrooms, I continue to ask people, what are you going to do and how are you going to do this? The 369 principle works very beautifully over a calendar, by the way. You need to have high degree of clarity of what your day 1, 2, 3 are going to look like starting from tomorrow. So today we are on the 7th of April. Start from tomorrow morning, first thing, 8th, 9th April, which is your day 1, 2, 3, how are they going to look like? Your day 4, 5, 6, how will they look like? Your day 7, 8, 9, how will they look like? You need to have your calendar full back to back, which means know that you have time for your self-development, know that you have time for your physical trainings or whatever, know that you have to have your time for family and your relationships and your loved ones, know that you're going to have your time for marketing or for product development, know that also you have to have structured time for sales, which means fix a 1 hour in the morning, fix a 1 hour in the evening, and try and focus only sales, which means have a funnel ready, have your ABC customers ready, have your list ready. And why do you have to go on a lead management system? A lot of people again fall into the trap of buying a very happy lead management system. I'm so sorry. With all due regards, Excel sheet works equally beautifully well, which means draft Excel sheet, know what you're going to do on your calendar on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The same principle now goes on to the weeks. You need to have clarity. First 3 weeks, what kind of customers, how many people you're reaching out, and what are you going to speak and talk about, and how will you refine? Based on learnings, you go into chapter 2 of going into your week number 5, 6, 7. Now again, either reaching out people again, touching base with people again in some ways, or reaching fresh number of people. Your day, your week 7, 8, 9 will decide how many closure are you going to do, or how many objection handlings have you to do, which means farming from week 1 to week 9, yet closing something or the other. It's very imperative, it's very important to understand that you need to work on certain principles. And here is a principle which I just shared with you. Happy to work deeply on this. And there's a structure, there's a lot of talking on this, there's a lot of discussions on this. And again, Brigadier sir, this again is something problematic. If you ask this question to a lot of people, what are you doing in 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now? People go blank. Nothing. I'm all available, which cannot be the case. You need to have utmost clarity of how many webinars are you attending, how many webinars are you conducting, what kind of tools or technology are you learning. You need to really put everything into a calendar, and that calendar has to speak. You have to become a slave of your calendar. I hope that partially answers your question.
Very good. Actually, it's absolutely fine. So, Chander, I have come across people who, when you talk to them, you look like a very great expert if you give them a very complex software to work on. And if you say you can do it on an Excel sheet, people think is, oh, this is a normal thing. But I'll tell you, all my tools are so simple that you don't need to spend a penny on them. So what Chander is saying is something I have been doing on Zindagi Unplugged also. Hundreds of people who have come and asked me, can you give it to me? And I call it the peg system. So what Chander is saying, in an Excel sheet, one cell becomes your time slot of, let's say, 20 or 30 minutes. And uh, there are people, leaders like the chairman of Google, who makes it on a 15-minute slots, and he knows exactly all those slots are filled much earlier in time. So if an emergency comes up, you know which slot to be removed and put in some other peg. So I call it the peg system. And all those who are interested in the peg system can write in the comments, and I will be very happy to send it to you. The PEC system. It's a free downloadable thing on my website. A very, very simple Excel sheet. You can use it the way Chandar just explained. How you use it, it's a blank format with an example given there, and you can build it around according to your personal requirement and lifestyle. Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
I'll quickly add there, sir,
uh,
is that, and of course with a pinch of salt, and to all my dear trainers and all fraternity of people who are listening, with a pinch of salt, I'm saying this: get ready. You're in sales, by the way. Get ready for rejection. Get ready for failure. Get ready to be doors shut on your face. Remember the good old Eureka Forbes salesperson? He knocks your door. He knocks probably 50 doors in a day, and 48 doors close. One of them says, come back on a certain time. And one of them says, oh, yes, we'll be excited to buy, but come on a different date. So get ready for rejection. You are going to be sales. It's not easy, but you have to be persistent. You have to continuously go on and on. And your confidence and your continuity is what is going to matter. So naturally, you have to have nerves of steel to go on and carry on. But don't you worry, we've all faced rejections. I have faced many rejections personally, and only then you learn how to probably re-articulate your product. Because
okay.
remember
Thank you
one thing,
very much.
and
Sorry.
remember one thing, and remember one thing: objection is just an opportunity. Objection is just an opportunity to speak one more time. If someone shows an objection, if someone slams the door on you, there's definitely a scope to probably now give more value, or speak out or reach out at some other time, and probably weave an ecosystem in which ways you can decide. But I think you'll need to create value and learn the hard way. So that's with a pinch of salt.
Okay. Okay, Chandra, we are coming to the end of our time slot, and I'll try to. I'd like to like you to answer one more question,
Please.
which came to my mind just when you were talking. That what are some of your suggestions on reading or listening by people to inculcate a habit of enhancing and reinforcing, or for some people developing their selling skills? So people who are beginning, particularly people who are beginning or who are in their startup stage, what type of material should you recommend they should read or listen to or watch?
So I think great question again, and I'm hitting the fact that we are coming to the end of the program because I think our energies are all charged up. People are really responding very well, and I think we are going in the right direction. I wish this could extend for another hour, or maybe on popular demand we can probably have one more time doing the same thing. But what I have really liked, and let me say this to the audience, there's one thing I've admired about Brigadier Sushil Bhasin, that he has spent and invested money on his own growth like nobody. You cannot imagine the amount of investment of time, money, energy, resources is done to learn from the best of the world. I followed exactly, I just copy pasted what he does, which means I just went to the best of the people in the world, including Tom Abbott in Singapore. I follow him. I follow Brendan Bouchard. There are people like Roger Fisher, which I've read, William Frey, Matthew Dixon, Jordan Belfort, Ron Kaufman, all-time favorite, Marshall Goldsmith. I have attended these classroom programs. I've sat through with them. I've followed these people on social media. I have read about the kind of books they read. Unless you're reading, see, beyond your subject matter expertise, if you're not reading enough, you're really not doing justice to entire business. Which means if I show you, I've got a pile of books, some of my favorites, and beginners are, I'll quickly ask you to, there are 8 of them. So I'm giving you the freedom of giving me one number from 1 to 8. Give me one number from 1 to 8.
Okay, let me give you three.
Number 3. Okay, I'll take this book out. Number 3 book in this pile is this book, which is Why Do People Make Such Stupid Mistakes by Chris. It's all on negotiation skills. I can vouch for it. Anybody can take money back from me if you're not happy with the first 20 pages of this book. This is a phenomenal book, honestly, my Bible to negotiation skills. And this is a book which can teach you some phenomenal stuff, which means go back to as many number of books. And there are many. These are all books by famous authors and writers. But to people who probably do not have the kind of time or the kind of inclination to read, for example, I'm a very bad reader. I will highly recommend end of this webinar, go do first thing if you can, have a glass of water and sign up for either Amazon Audibles or any other Audible books across the globe. There are many. Right from a $7-10 to a $50 all over for a year's membership, you get various audiobooks. While you're cooking, you can listen to books. While you're walking, you listen to books. While you're moving around from place to place, you can listen to books. So just get into the habit of listening to books. And each time, I've got papers. I've got all sorts of these papers all over me all the time. Which means if I get something very noteworthy, I quickly write it on a slip pad and leave it there, so that I get a higher reminder of listening to that particular. So I listen to almost about 2 books in a week by principle, which is about 8 books in a week, in a month, and that's how I keep upgrading myself. Sign up for some audio books. Make sure you're listening to some beautiful podcasts. I listen to podcasts by Brigadier Basin all the time, and some real nuggets there. Some things you can probably again represent in your own classroom in your own ways. I'm happy to share that. But make sure you can listen to podcasts, make sure you can listen to audiobooks and sign up for them today if you're not a great reader. But if you're a great reader, I highly recommend just go and shop for some books over whatever websites and just get them home and start reading more around sales. If you still need a list of the books, we are happy to share that list of books from you, right from spin selling to psychology of selling to Sell or Be Sold. Grant Cardone, he's written that book, Sell or Be Sold. Again, beautiful book. So all of these guys have some phenomenal work. Phenomenal.
Thank you very much. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. And, I'm reminded of James Taylor, who's one of my gurus, and you know him also.
Mine too.
Yeah, you're too, yes. So James Taylor told me about 1.5 years back, he said, get down to becoming 1 inch wide and 1 mile deep. And that really sort of strengthened my thoughts. So 1 inch for me was time management. And now he said, if you have taken that as your focus subject, then you need to go deep into this subject. So he told me, gave me a task of reading 10 best books on time management. And then on my own, like what you said, even I find reading a little difficult. First, I'm not a good reader, and secondly, with my eyes and all, it becomes a little more strenuous. So I go and listen to a lot of YouTube videos. So I have 1 hour dedicated every day when I'm listening to either a podcast or a video on time management. Okay, so that means every day I'm getting 1 hour of extra knowledge on the subject I'm good at, so that I can keep abreast with the latest. The second thing is that while you're also getting material from other people, you also need to be discussing all this with your clientele, because the learner's environment is changing every day. And
Yes.
I think for a trainer, it's very important to be absolutely abreast with the latest and keep evolving yourself, because like the famous joke that between me and JJ we have is that you cannot take a selfie with a Nokia 1100. You know, your old techniques cannot help you to reach today's objective. So if you want to take a selfie, you have to have a smartphone. You can't say I'll take it from my Nokia phone. So the
Yeah.
way we upgrade our devices, the same way we have to upgrade this device also. You can't say I've done my MBA and for the rest of my life I can relax. No, that MBA is gone. It has already become outdated. You have to see not only for what is happening in the present, but also see trends for the future and be prepared for that. Okay. So, guys, before we close, let me tell you two, three things. We are going to continue this session on next Thursday on a Zoom call. We do something called focus group learning. So, the group here will be beginner trainers, okay, startup trainers, and not expert trainers. It's not meant for them. We are going to do a session, and Chander has very kindly accepted to come for that session, 7 o'clock Thursday on Zoom. You need to, we've already got it in the chat box. Bharti's put up a link. We have a community on WhatsApp, which all trainers who want to share their opinions, learn from each other. It is a place where we only serve. We've served trainers with all types of knowledge that we gain from somewhere, we pass it on to you. So it is a sharing knowledge platform. And in that, we will be from there only, we get people on our webinars. So we will have a webinar on sales to continue with some things that we have talked of. Please send your questions to us in the WhatsApp group so that we can time it accordingly. We again have that for 1.5 hours. It's a 90-minute session, and in those 90 minutes, we like to give you what you want and not what we know. So the endeavor is to find out what are your challenges in sales, what type of, where are you stuck, where we can get you unstuck and keep getting you moving forward. So that is, so I've got somebody saying the link is not working. If they try again, because I used this link right in the morning and it did work. Virtual TBW. Absolutely, the link is correct. Sometimes once it doesn't work, try it again, it'll work. And if it doesn't work, then there's a LinkedIn user, I don't have the name, who says that the link is not working. So do get back to us, get back to Bharati, get back to me, and we'll give you the new link. Okay. So let's see you on Thursday next, which will be, I think the date would be 15th, if I'm not wrong. Thursday, yeah, it is 15th. So 15th of April, 7 to 8:30. Please block your calendar and be there so that uh, we can have further depth into this question. And I will only like those people to come, because we want to keep this to 25, maximum 30 people, because we like to give personalized attention to these people who are coming. And we will share some more ideas. We will have questions sent by you. And let's make that 90 minutes a solid, high return on the investment of your time there. So that's all. If there are any quick questions, we can spend another 5 minutes and then we are off. Thank you, Anil, for your valuable comment. Yes. Also, leave us in the comments. How did you like today's session? And I'm very fond of saying on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 if it was amazing, and 1 if it was a waste of time. So just give us your grading, your overall assessment of how did you find this session? Was it worth your time? So Bharti is given the link again, and please see if you can try it out. Thank you, Ira. Ira has started coming on Instagram as well, and yes, we do some lives on Instagram on Tuesdays and Fridays. I talk about goal management. So you could come. So we've got some. Anil says 10. LinkedIn user says 9. Amita says 8. Kirith says 9. So we are quite happy if you can tell us what would you like to do? What would you like us to do to make it from 8 to 10? So, Amita, if you can let us know where did you fall you think we fell short of your expectation, so that we can cover that in the FGL, and do come in the FGL. It's again a free interactive session where we will answer your questions, share your knowledge, tell us what you are doing in sales which is working for you, so that others learn. So in this we learn from each other, we do a mastermind stuff. It is not a lecture, it is not an expert is there to just moderate it and make it easy for you to understand, but we are not there to teach. So yes, we have got lots of tens and a couple of nines, and Amita says 8, Anil says 10. Okay, so if there is anyone else who is looking forward to who has a question, please let us know this. Thank you, Vinay. I saw you were there right in the from beginning till end, which really shows that you were. It all
Thank you.
depends on the learner's interest, and some people don't have the patience. They just come for 5 minutes and go away, and you don't realize that there could be a good thing that you missed later. So that is entirely an individual choice. Yeah. So Amita says that she gave 8 because she's not in sales. Amita, I think either you missed what we're saying. There is nobody in this world who's not in sales. Okay. If you are a human being, you are into sales because you're selling your ideas. If I tell my wife, let's go for a movie, and she's not in a mood to go for a movie, and instead she makes me go to the park, then she's a good salesperson. Okay, so I think we are, and you know what Chandar said very clear, categorically and clearly. And if I miss out something, Chandar, you can say that again. It is communication, it is persuasion, it is influencing. All that is sales. There's one more word. You said 4 words. Which is that fourth
Yeah,
one?
so persuasion, negotiation,
Negotiation.
influencing, and convincing. So convincing, influencing, persuasion, and negotiation. They're all imperative, very important to sales.
So, when people talk about communication skills, and I feel that all those who talk about communication skills, you're a very good communicator if whatever you know, you can convey to the other person without any loss of distortion or clarity. So,
Absolutely.
if I am telling you something and you understand 100% of it in the manner that I mean to convey to you, then I am a good communicator. But let's say I'm talking to you about yoga and you understood everything, but you did nothing about it, then my communication hasn't really done the trick. So if I shift my capability from being not only being a communicator, but also being an influencer, that tomorrow morning you get up and start doing yoga, then my communication is really effective. So as trainers, I always say move ahead of communicator skills and learn influencing skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Amita had missed that. Amita, I'll strongly recommend that you listen to the recording from the beginning. I think Chandra
Yeah.
did very well by going into a very sequential way. And uh, yeah, Prabha says how important is branding. And let me tell you, after sales, we have two subjects in mind. One is about using LinkedIn. So we have a LinkedIn expert who will come and tell us how to get the best out of generating leads through LinkedIn for your speaking or training business. And the other one is we've got a very national level brand stylist who's going to be talking to us about branding. So these two subjects are coming up in the next two sessions. So Prabha, stay tuned in. We'll keep announcing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. And stay in touch with us. Come into this WhatsApp group, and you will know exactly what we are doing. We have lots and lots and lots in store for you, and I really am happy because when somebody says I want to know something about branding, it reconfirms that what we are planning is something that trainers need. And if you come out with more ideas which you have not planned, we can start putting that into the pipeline as well. Some suggestions of good books. Okay, we'll send you, Vignesh, we'll send you the list of books also. So I'm going to ask Chander to share the list of books that he's talking about. And I've got some of them also. So I'll add that and probably we'll send you a list of recommended books. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys, there's also another thing. Vignesh, when you have a book in mind, also put it in the group, because
Yeah.
we are not looking at the power of mastermind. And this is from Napoleon Hill. In 1937 he came out with this, that when two minds come together, a third mind gets created. That is called the mastermind, right? So when we have, and the idea of this collaborative learning in that WhatsApp group is that let us get into uh, let's get into that environment of not only learning but collaborating. So we have our TTOT community, train the online trainer community, and in that we keep emphasizing. Almost every Tuesday we have a session, and I keep talking about it every time. I'll never get tired of repeating it, that we work on 4 C's. Okay, 4 C's. It is co-creating, collaborating, contributing, and co-elevating. So the co-elevation takes place when you co-create, contribute, and collaborate. Very,
Absolutely.
very important. So you got a long message from Pradeep. It will be a pleasure to have yourself, Brigadier, and Chandar, as well as everyone in the audience, to visit my YouTube channel where I share my sales journey over 2 decades. Looking forward to our collaboration for sales. Okay, we are very, very happy with collaborations, and always open to such. Always open. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for being with us.
Can I
Thank you.
take the
Yeah, please.
And yeah, so I'll quickly take this opportunity to thank all the audiences who've been there patiently listening to this entire conversation. Thank you so much for taking time out on a weekday like this. And thank you so much, Brigadier sir, to have me over this platform. It was a complete pleasure. I look forward to, I'm very excited to the next Thursday mastermind group in evening classroom. I really invite all of you to please come over there. We'll have lots of fun there, a big party, and of course, lots of knowledge sharing, and we'll see and ensure that the entire community grows. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. So, Chandar, I'm extremely grateful to you for having agreed to invest your time free of cost to share your nuggets, your actually gems, they're really gems, and you've shared them with people who are keen to learn. So, therefore, our endeavor to collaboratively contribute to society keeps going on. Amita, I'm very happy to see the attitude you're showing. She said, earlier she said, yes, I will listen again. Here it is. She said, I'll listen again. And now she's saying, looking forward to, which means Amita has, even if one person who comes on a session like this goes back with the type of a value and commitment to yourself, not we don't need your commitment to us. Commitment to yourself that you will become a better salesperson. I think we have achieved our aim. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks all of you, and look forward to seeing you on Thursday in the mastermind group in the FGL focus group learning. And please do look at that link. Join up in the WhatsApp group, and we'll go further in co-elevating. Co-elevating. That will be, how we help each other grow. Thank you so much.